the house. And she said, Thy handmaid had not anything in the house save a pot of oil. Then he said, Go, borrow these vessels abroad of all thy neighbors, even empty vessel borrow not few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels. Thou shalt set aside that which is full. So she went from him, and she shut the door upon her and upon her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured out. And it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said unto her son, Bring me yet a vessel. And he said unto her, There is not a vessel more, and the oil stays. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of the word of God. I kept going back and forth with this, and trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about today. And the Lord kept bringing me back to this. And just reading those 7 verses, let me know that God will let you know when a little is enough. And he'll make something out of nothing.
All right now. All right.
So in this passage, we are introduced to a woman who finds herself between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
This issue of life has served her a limit and dared to make lemonade. And as we eavesdrop on her conversation with the prophet Elijah, we should be able to empathize with her pain. This woman's husband, who was her provider, her protector, had died. And not only was this woman sad, but she was in a pitiful situation. But to make matters worse, the creditors who her husband owed was coming to take the 2 sons into slavery.
That's what we do.
My, just to think about that. Somebody taking my children.
That's it.
This woman, without a husband, with 2 sons to care for by herself. Some of you all have been there. You raised your children as a single parent. You know what it was like. You can imagine and put yourself there. She also had a loss of income. Her cash flow was cut short. Maybe the money she had for a rainy day was all gone. I'm just visualizing what she was going through and putting myself there.
All right.
You see, back then, there was no insurance policy that her husband had, and her son, to me, weren't old enough to work. To me, the bondsmen wouldn't be coming together.
All right.
This caused her to get behind on her bills. And you know how the creditors are when we get behind on our bills. Your 30 days, your 60 days, your 90 days, and the next thing you look around, it's in collection. And as a matter, she was so far behind that the creditors were coming to get her son so they could work off their father's debt. So here we are with a woman with growing boys. Even if we got girls, we know they eat up everything in the house. And bills piling up. And I'm going to say the water is about to get turned off.
All right.
And the lights are about to get turned off. And the repo man is knocking at my door. He's knocking at my door. And when the mother found herself backed up against the wall, felt like she was about to fall,
Hallelujah.
she goes and have a talk to the man of God. Elijah says, your servant. She said to Elijah, your servant, my husband is dead. You know that your servant feared the Lord. But the creditors had come to take my sons and slaves. Just think what this woman went through. She went to the prophet. She went to the right person. She went to the man that she believed in. Even though she know God was there, she believed in Elisha. She went to him. Some of us, we try to go to our so-called friends. And our so-called friends don't have no sympathy for us. Child, I wouldn't even worry about it. Child, I wouldn't even let them go. You might be better off without, but they don't give you a word that's going to push you and going to give you strength. We all have lost somebody. We know what we go through. But this lady 2 young sons. Nothing in her house but a bottle of oil. That's all she got left. That's all she had left. So she tells Elijah about her situation. We need to go to the Lord in prayer and tell him when we are faced with storms in our life.
Yes, Lord.
Just call on Jesus and he will answer
He
prayer.
will answer prayer.
She had no family that she could turn to in this situation, so she went to the man of God. When Elijah asked her, "What do you have in your house?" she says, "Nothing except a jar of oil." Now notice that she had nothing in her house except a jar of oil. Maybe she had sold everything in her house to make ends meet. We don't know. Now she found herself down to her last item, a jar of oil. Here is a mother with nothing but a jar of oil in her house. But guess what?
All right.
Little did she know
Yes.
that there was a blessing.
Uh-huh.
A blessing
Yes.
in that jar
Yes.
of oil. There was deliverance in that jar of oil.
Yes, God.
There was hope in that jar of oil.
Yes.
When a little is enough.
Yes, God.
That mother didn't see, but Elijah did. When
Mhm.
you are down to your last and feel that, that's when you're at the end.
Yes, God.
And you look around, God, that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Let me tell you about some people in the Bible
Yes.
when they thought a little wasn't enough.
Mhm.
There were 12 disciples. They saw 5 loaves and 2 fish, but Jesus saw 5,000.
Yes.
When Peter was fishing, his net was empty, nothing that night. But when Jesus passed by, the net broke, and then the boat began to sink. And let me tell you about Moses. Moses didn't have nothing but a rod. Nothing but a rod.
Yes, ma'am.
But then God showed him
Yes.
that little and something. He made something out of nothing. Lay that rod down,
Yeah.
drive that land so they could go across.
Yes.
There are so many people in the Bible, and we as saints, sometimes we're at home. We think that what we have is nothing. But you got to look
Glory to
beyond
God.
that and see.
Hallelujah. Thank you,
Be
God.
thankful for what you have.
Yeah.
My lights on. Food might not be the food that I want to eat, but I got food.
Yeah.
I don't have to go out and beg nobody for anything
Yeah.
because God is making a way. We got to learn to appreciate
Yes, God.
what we have
Yeah.
in order for God to bless us.
Yes.
We gotta praise God.
Yes. Thank you,
Remember,
God.
Emmanuel, there has been some action. We gotta have action
Yes,
behind
God.
our faith. In God, if we want to be blessed. Because this woman, this mother, this widow trusted God because she was humble and obedient to the instruction that the prophet had given us. She was blessed for a lifetime.
Yeah.
If we only trust God and believe when we go to the man of God.
Yes.
When they tell you, like Pastor Scruggs said, turn around 3 times.
There you go. Because of your show. Hallelujah. Glory to God.
Shanda around in my faith.
Hallelujah.
He's gonna turn it
Glory to
around.
God.
But you gotta
Thank you, God.
expedite that faith.
Yes.
Faith comes by hearing.
Yeah,
You
God.
gotta have that faith.
Yes.
Don't be ashamed to get on your knees and say, God, I need you.
Yes.
In the midnight hour, sometimes I wake up and I don't know why I'm awake. And then my godmother used to tell me, God wants you to pray.
Yeah.
I just start praying for everybody.
Yes.
I just pray, and I said, Lord, I want to go to sleep. But then, like Mother Flowers used to say, just keep on praying.
Yeah.
Keep on praying.
Yeah.
It's somebody that you don't know.
That's right.
And I said, Lord, I don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
I don't need to know what they're
Hallelujah,
going
but
through.
you know.
Just touch
Yeah,
it, Lord.
yeah, yeah.
Touch it right now.
Yes,
Just
Lord.
guide away. Touch it, Lord. Lift them up, oh Lord. Undergird them, oh Lord. Because only you can do that.
Yes, Lord.
They can come and talk to me, but I can't work it out. Only God can.
Yes, God.
So remember at the beginning of the story, this woman was bankrupt. But at the end of the story, the mother was blessed.
All right.
She was poor, but at the end, God showed up.
Yes.
This mother was privileged and powerful. At the beginning, this mother was stressed out. But at the end, this mother had peace. At the beginning, she was depressed. But at the end of the story, she was rejoicing.
Yes.
At the beginning of the story, this mother was unemployed.
Mhm.
But look at God. At the end, she became an entrepreneur. She was a CEO over her own. Oh, that's when did God work it out? I mean, to become a CEO over your own company.
Hallelujah.
At the beginning of this story, the mother wasn't able to sing.
Yes.
But at the end of the story, this mother sung a praise to the Lord.
Thank you.
At the beginning of the story, this mother was going through a test. But here, I'm here to tell you this afternoon, Emmanuel, that at the end of the story, she had a testimony.
Yes, yes,
I believe if you would just sit back for a minute
yes, God.
and visualize with me in your head what this woman got up when she went to Elijah and in front of the church to testify. I believe if you could use your sanctified imagination
Glory,
with me
glory,
this
glory.
afternoon,
Hallelujah.
I believe her testimony would be something like this. She had two options. One, she couldn't change. She couldn't bring her husband back.
That's right.
But she had the other option of saving her son.
Yes.
And that's what she did. If I had not been on the Lord's side,
Yeah.
where would I be?
What would I be?
Had a little, and God blessed me with a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I was down to my last, and God gave me what I needed.
Yes.
I believe she was saying, I won't turn around. I keep trusting God.
Yes.
God heard my cries.
Yes.
He delivered me from all my
Hallelujah.
fears.
Yes, God.
I believe she would say, what God has done for me, He can do for you.
Yes.
The Lord has brought me from a mighty long way. I almost gave up, but God kept me so
Yes.
I wouldn't let go.
Yes, God.
He is worthy to be praised.
Yes.
He is worthy to be trusted.
Yes, God.
I have a little bit,
Yes.
but God gave me
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
When I thought I had nothing, God turned my nothing
Yes,
into
God.
something.
Hallelujah.
Praise
Thank you,
God.
God. Thank you,
Praise God.
Praise
I had
God.
nothing,
Hallelujah.
God turned it into something.
Yes, God.
I was a sinner.
Yes.
I was nothing.
Yeah.
One fit to die.
Yes.
Hallelujah. But God came in and He
Yeah.
touched me.
Yeah.
He touched me.
Yeah.
Something out of
Yeah.
me. He made something out of me.
Yes.
And I praise God for this
Yeah.
book today. I
Yes.
praise God.
Yeah.
I praise God. I thank Him.
Hallelujah. Yes,
We
God.
all have had trials.
Yeah.
We all have had ups and downs.
Yes.
But I believe in my heart
Yes, God.
today
Yes, God.
that God is going to work it out for us.
Yes,
God's going to turn around.
Yes, God. Yes, God.
All we got to do
Yes,
is
God.
be just like those sons.
Yes, Lord.
The sons went out with their mother.
Yes, God.
They came together and joined
Yes,
together.
God. Yes, God.
They went from door to door,
Yes, God.
asking for those oil vessels.
Yes, God.
Look at God, how He worked it out.
Yes, God.
Oh, yeah.
That's all we got to do, Emmanuel.
Yes, God.
Join together.
Yes.
By faith, we're going to make it.
Yes,
By faith, we are going to make it.
Yes.
Those trials that you're
Yeah,
going
yeah,
through,
yeah, yeah.
God knows just what to do.